Welcome to Inside the Webb, Student Life Unpacked, your go-to series for everything you need to know about student life at Gardner-Webb University. I'm Lesley Villarose, Dean of Students, and I'm excited to walk alongside you as we explore the many services, resources, and opportunities designed to help you thrive on campus.
And I'm Brian Arnold, Assistant Dean of Students, here to help you make the most of your GW experience. Whether you're just getting started, transferring in, or returning for another great year, in each episode, we'll take a closer look at different aspects of student life, from housing and wellness to involvement in spiritual life, joined by special guests from across campus.
So whether you're tuning in from home, on the road, or already walking in the quad, this is your space to get informed, get connected, and get inspired. And on this episode of Inside the Webb, Student Life Unpacked, we are joined by Lesley Paul, our Director of Housing and Residence Education. So, Lesley, thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome.
Great.
Glad to be here.
Great. Let's start off in telling us a little bit about housing at Gardner-Webb. What does that encompass when we say housing and residence education, and how do you all provide services for our students?
Housing at Gardner-Webb is about more than just providing some place for someone to shower, some place to sleep. Housing is about having a place where students can come and know that they are able to study, to continue their learning process. There's living learning communities that help cultivate that. We also have opportunities for programs in the residence halls. And overall, our students are looking for a place where they can be comfortable, and we provide that. We try to make a setting where learning can continue, but also a place that's safe and a place of rest.
Mm-hmm.
Lesley, many of our first-year students get to the opportunity to live in our first-year housing. What can those students expect, and what can their families expect when they show up here for move-in day? What does that first year housing look like?
Well, during the first year, we walk closely beside our first year students and make sure that they have all the resources that they need. So right at the very beginning, they're greeted by resident assistants, or RAs. That's what we call them. And we make sure that our RA staff is prepared to guide students towards any resources that may be needed, such as if they need help with getting something arranged in their room or getting things set up on move-in day. We'll help out with that. We have facility services on standby who also help out with making sure things are in working order and things are in place properly. We also have some live-in graduate resident directors that are on site, and they cover a region of campus, and they are there as another layer of support. We always have someone on call who's there for first-year students. There's a housing on-call number that they can call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Even over holidays, we have staff in place. And finally, we have professional staff who live on campus too. So there's multiple layers of support to make sure that students have what they need. And also our first year students, we have quite a bit of programming that's geared towards helping them acclimate to the campus environment. So we really encourage our residents to take advantage of those opportunities when they can. We want them to know that the residence halls go beyond sleeping and showering. They're someplace that they can really have community where they can make their best friends, maybe friends for life.
Mm-hmm. So thinking about logistical questions, how do I apply for housing? How do I do that? Where do I find it? And when I do that, what are my options for where I could live?
Well, right from the very beginning, from admissions and even for returning students, you're introduced to My GWU. It's our page that includes multiple links in there. We also have our housing portal there. So once students get their login and have their ID numbers all set up, they're able to immediately start accessing that portal. The housing portal is accessible to first-year students and to returning students. And so you log in, go to the application and fill that out. And from that information, we're able to start that housing placement process.
So, Lesley, what's your advice, I guess, on finding a roommate? Maybe I don't have any people from my school or someone that I know close that's coming to Gardner-Webb, and I may be new, a transfer student or a first-year student. What's your advice on trying to find that good roommate?
Okay. Well, there's a couple of different ideas. One that's kind of rudimentary that you can take advantage of are some of the programs that we have for new incoming students, such as Accepted Student Day, things like that are hosted by our Office of Admissions. I really encourage students to participate in those. Oftentimes, that's one of the best places to be able to meet other students who might be coming in. We also do a bit of matching as well. I don't want students to think it's all haphazard. We have a little bit of information that we collect on our application to help match students. So our software also helps us a bit with getting students together and like interests. There's a little bit of effort that we put in as well to make sure students have proper matches. There's also some apps that are provided by our admissions office that help students connect. So there's some connection points through those apps that they provide that allow students to be able to connect with other students that they might want to room with.
What's your suggestion or advice as well for students that you find your roommate and we're a couple of weeks, a couple of months into this, and it may be oil and water. We thought we wanted to live together, and it's just not working. I want to stay up late. They want to go to bed early. I want to wake up late. They want to wake up early. What is your suggestion for working things out to either continue to live together or to maybe find that new space?
Well, I would say from the start of the year, there's going to be a time when RAs come around and they offer you the chance to be able to do a roommate agreement. And sometimes people think, I don't need that. We get along great, or we knew each other in high school. We're best friends. Well, sometimes the best friends aren't the best roommates. So we sometimes need to have that agreement in place to help students to connect the dots of who's going to take out the trash when, because some students are coming to school thinking, oh, I'm finally away from my parents. I don't have someone laying down a bunch of rules for me. And so I can just take out the trash when it's overflowing and it's on the floor. And that's not what we want. We want our housing spaces to be comfortable for both residents. And so those roommate agreements help lay down some ground rules for the room. It only takes about 10, 15 minutes. And once it's completed, you all can even change it as the school year goes on if you find you need some modifications there. And it gives a tool for roommates to be able to kind of work through just how things should operate and to be able to come to some agreements in a civil kind of way. There's not text message arguments. You can work through those things in person. We also do help provide some mediation if it's needed. That's part of what the RAs do. The staff is there to help support students through any challenges they may face with roommates. Our last resort is to move students, but it is possible to look into room changes. That usually happens after our drop ad period is over, when we have everybody settled into their spaces and we know what's open and what's not.
So part of, talking about roommates is you also want to everybody wants to know what their room is and the dimensions and all of that. So, can you tell us just a quick overview specifically for first year students? What are those living options? And, is it suite style? Is it, community bathrooms? What does that look like?
We have a campus that has buildings that were built many decades ago, all the way to some that were within the last 20 years. And because of those spaces varying so much, we have lots of different styles of housing. So we have many of our buildings for first-year students that are the traditional double corridor, 2 people to a room type of setup. They have community bathrooms. the showers are with stalls and curtains. Nobody's sitting out in the wide open like in Once Upon a Time. So we everybody has privacy in those bathrooms. Some of the rooms in some of the buildings have sinks. Some of the buildings actually have even Jack and Jill bathrooms, like for instance in Happy Residence Hall, and that's mostly the honors residence living learning community residence hall. And so we have a variety of different styles of housing options. And we actually have a listing that you can access on our website. If you go to Gardner-Webb's website and go to student life and look under housing, you'll find different options that are there. And they actually list a little bit about what is available. We also have listings that we can send that have the dimensions of some of those rooms that we have published on the website as well. So you can see like the dimensions of the windows and approximately what size the rooms are so that you know what kind of rugs you want to get and things like that. So, and if we don't have that measurement exactly to what you're looking for, we have staff that are able to go in and take some measurements for you if needed.
Now, once you get outside that first year experience, what are some of those housing options that are available outside your first year?
Beyond your first year, you still have some traditional residence halls that you can stay in, such as Decker Residence Hall and Lutz Residence Hall. We have those spaces available for Decker's for all female and Lutz is all male as of right now. And then we have also some apartments and suites that upperclassmen and women are able to stay in. And so we have the suite style spaces, and there's 3 of those buildings that are available for suite style living. Those hold up to 8 residents per suite. So each room holds 2 people, and it has a kitchenette type of area and a living room space. In the apartments, it has a full kitchen, living room, and it's completely furnished. And we have 4 bedrooms to those spaces. And so those provide private rooms for students to live in those spots. So we do have those available as well. And for all students, I meant to mention that we have rooms that provide accommodations for those that might need certain additional assistance, like if you need hard of hearing devices or accessibility for a wheelchair or anything like that. We have different options that we're able to accommodate students in most buildings on campus.
That's great. Two questions. One, where do I find a list of things that I should bring or not bring? And then where do I do my laundry? Because we're not bringing it home, right? So
who said they're not bringing it home?
I know.
Well, laundry facilities are provided in each residence hall. In the suites, there is a laundry room as well. In the apartments, laundry is provided inside the apartment space. And so that is provided there. You do not have to have a bunch of quarters like your parents may have. And so I know the coin laundry, you don't need the quarters. It's already provided in your housing fees. And so laundry is available. And we do encourage you to wash your clothes and your sheets on a regular basis. But we have plenty of laundry facilities. We also have you also have access to there's other places off campus you can wash clothes, but I believe that we have a lot of convenient spots for you to be able to take care of that, of your laundry issues. Also, we have, for looking at things to bring, there are a number of items that you can have. There's also some things you can't. So we do encourage you to go on our website as well. Usually in our FAQs, we have things that you can bring to campus. It's a list. And we can also email you even a document. You should get some kind of information from us prior to school starting. You're going to get a listing of things you can and cannot bring. So we encourage you to start using your Gardner-Webb email early on so that you can see different communications that we're going to send out. There's going to be really important communication about move-in dates, move-in times, things you can and cannot bring. We want to make sure that you if you're on a team or anything like that, you might be arriving earlier than other students. So we want to make sure that you see those emails in advance. So check your email, friends.
Always check your email, right?
Lesley, what are your thoughts on the why students shouldn't bring some of these items? Like, for example, candles. I know that's on the list, but they smell so great. And sometimes some spaces cannot smell great. And candles can really kind of help that out. So when we look at some of those items that are on the do not bring list, what is the why to that?
I really believe that we have a wonderfully responsible group of students that we bring in each year. But I have witnessed firsthand, because of the busy schedules that our students have, and just, I mean, even as a professional staff person, I'm pretty busy myself, and it's easy to run out the door and forget that candle that you lit that's sitting there in your living room. Or one time I walked into a space where they had lit a candle that they weren't supposed to have, and it was underneath a towel rack, a lit candle under a towel. And so I really encourage students to pay attention to the rules and guidelines, because they are for everyone's safety. We aren't trying to be difficult or challenging. We want your space to be comfortable, and we do want it to smell good. But we have other options that you can use, like having a plug-in or a plug-in like oil warmer. You can have, there's also usually alternative options for some of the like different items that you can't have in your room, such as we have kitchen spaces where you can cook and where you can actually use a stove. So don't use the hot plate, use the stove that's already provided within your facility. Or you have other options that are alternatives that we provide, bringing your air fryer to the kitchen or toaster to the kitchen and using it and then taking it back. So we have different ways that you can utilize these things without them necessarily being used in your room. So just know, for every, like for instance, you can't have extension cords, but you can have a power strip with an extra long cord. So just know, for everything you can't bring, there's usually an alternative thing you can bring.
That's right. Right. Well, Lesley, just kind of one final thought. What is something that's special to you in working with our students at Gardner-Webb?
Well, that's actually pretty easy. I think one of the most special parts of being at Gardner-Webb is my residence. I live in residence as well. I've chosen to live on campus with the students too, as a professional staff person. And I've done this for about 20 years. And so I'm a little older, and living on campus. But I do love being able to be a part of the community too. I get to sit down in the cafeteria and eat with the students. I get a chance to go to the events that are hosted. I get a chance to celebrate graduations and see milestones completed, and even helping students work through tough things, tough situations, and might be some loss that students face. And being able to be on that journey alongside them is really special to me. Being able to share my faith in a place that's safe for sharing my faith, that's been exciting for me as well. Being able to worship alongside students in Dimensions and some of the other events that are happening on campus. I really feel like that's something that's extra special about the work that I do. I almost feel guilty sometimes getting paid to go to some of these activities, because I'm like, I was like, I get paid to be a part of a community, but that's a large part. I do administrative work, of course, but a large part of what I love is being in community with students and walking alongside them and seeing them grow and be successful and even graduate, though I miss them.
Yes. Well, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you for being with us today. And thank you for the work that you and your team do.
You're welcome.
And thank you all for joining us. And we look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Inside the Webb, Student Life Unpacked.